That's not blood, it's meat juice, aka purge, which is mostly water and a protein called myoglobin. The protein that makes blood red is similar, but it's called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is 4 times larger and it's used to transport oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body, whereas myoglobin's function is to store that oxygen in your muscles for future use. Blood coagulates. It's thick, and it's actually used in some cuisines as a thickener. Meat juice is thin. You may have seen myoglobin show up on a blood test chart, but that's because we check for it as a sign of muscle damage where it leaks into the bloodstream. When an animal is slaughtered, it's hung up until just about all the blood drains out, because our circulatory system is sort of like a whole series of tubes and it drains pretty easily, whereas the myoglobin in the muscles stays put. And as you cook meat, it turns from red to either a brown or gray color. A rare steak is not a bloody steak, it's a myoglobular steak. Here are some times when you're more likely to see this sort of spurting meat juice action. 1, if the meat is vacuum sealed or tightly wrapped, which puts pressure on that muscle so it spurts out when you cut into it. 2, the meat was frozen, forming ice crystals inside, breaking down some of that structure and making it easier for the liquid to escape when it's cut after thawing. 3, it's leaner beef with more liquid and less fat. 4, it was more finely ground, releasing more fluid from the muscle. And 5, it was pre-packaged versus freshly ground, giving more time for the liquid to separate out from the muscle fibers. Most of these are not reasons to avoid ground beef, or the reason why it's cheap. Ground beef is generally cheaper by the pound than other types of beef because it's easier to process in bulk by machine, and is usually made up of the leftover beef trimmings rather than the choicer cuts. My favorite way to eat it is as a nice savory protein base for my mushroom risotto recipe.